Hello, hello, hello. Today is 9th of October 2023. It's been several weeks since we last heard from Norm Winsky. He has some important things to say, and Norm, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Jeff. I thought I would go review what I said last time I was on your show. I was last on Monday, September 11, and in advance of what was coming several days later, a new moon and some other several important points. So, AC, for those who are new, means after the close. So, if you see a date with AC, that means it's overnight after the close of that day into the next morning is the window. So, we had the first one we'll be looking at is September 14th. After the close, we had a new moon in the sign of Virgo. Anytime we have a new moon, full moon, we take a look at the usual suspects, financials, grains, precious metals, and because this new moon was in Virgo, we're emphasizing soybeans. And then we have on the night of the 15th, we have Mercury turning direct in Virgo again. And that's again, Mercury is grains. And by the way, the stocks are indicated for all these points. But Mercury is the grain, so that's corn, soybeans, wheat. Then we had the night of the 15th also. We had Saturn lining up for the U.S. natal chart. That's based on where the planets were when the country was founded on July the 4th, 1776. U.S. stocks, T-bonds, and U.S. dollar. And then the night of the 18th, we had Mercury at 0 north latitude. And that's an important point. It's a Mercury point at corn, soybeans, wheat. And then we had another Mercury point. That's very unusual. I have all these Mercury cycles converge within 4 days, 3 4 days. Mercury maximum elongation west, corn, soybeans, wheat again. And here's another one. We got I'm sorry, it's three plus the moon, right? Mercury, perihelion, corn, soybeans, wheat. Plus, because it's perihelion, that means near the sun. Then we have also gold with an emphasis on corn. So here's your corn chart. We had 5 points for corn. There's the moon. The moon's right there. And you can see the green arrow. If you sold there, you would have been happy because it went down. And then you had a chance to make some money. The next day, we had another window for, since it's declining, we'd be thinking about buying. And you're 1 day ahead of that low. So that was okay. And then the next day is really good because you're on the low of the month. And if you bought there, then you made money and it popped up and then it pulled back and you had a double bottom here with 2 Mercury points. And then you had a big rally there in corn for the rest of the month. Here's soybeans making a top on the moon. We declined there, but that buy there was too high. Red arrow is a miss. Greens are good. That means you had a chance to make money and therefore that was a miss. But the next day, because if you bought there, you didn't really have any chance to make money. But if you bought the next day, you had a little chance to make some small money. Now, if we go down here, we had the double bottom and the rallied, and so you had a chance to make some money there on the beans. Next, we have wheat. Here's an example of a pass where it's going sideways. Yellow box means we do nothing because it's going sideways. We don't do sideways. Then it rallied up to the moon window here for a top, down here for a low. Well, you popped up there for a little bit for make some money on that guy, and then down for a double bottom here, and then you popped up again and made some money, and that's wheat. Silver's been excellent the last several months or more just on the moon. Buy on the moon. Here we would decline in the new moon. You made a low there and it rallied. You had a chance to make some money. Here's gold. It did the same thing, declined into the new moon, rallied up, and you had a chance to make some money. Here's a heartbreaker. We went sideways into our Mercury perihelion point. You didn't know if that was going to be a high or low, so you had to take a pass. And look what happened. It had a big decline there, but we can't count that. All right, here's S&P rallied into the new moon. That was the top, went down and then went sideways. So you didn't have, so you couldn't. Hard to say that you made or lost money, and so I had to count both those 2 points for the S&P as misses, and then we went sideways here for a pass. So then we went down here, and you were a little bit. If you bought there, you really didn't have much of a chance to make any money, so I had to count that as a miss. But if you bought there, you had a chance to make a little bit of money there. On the pop up, probably would have made up what you lost over here. All right, and that was probably roughly a break even here too. So then we looking at T bonds, you declined into the moon. No, wait, the moon is sideways. We didn't do the moon on T bonds. Then declined into U.S. point there the night of the 15th. That's the weekend into Monday the 18th. Then you popped up a little bit for about a handle and a half to make some money. And bonds, dollar was even better. You rallied into the moon, declined into the U.S. point there, and then you got a huge rally in the dollar from that point. Here's the euro, declined into the new moon, and then you had a nice rally following that. So if we add up all the green arrows and red arrows, you got 21 winners, 4 misses out of 25 for 84%. You'll have to take my word on the next chart that I did this in advance. They got the blue line here that I do in advance. I did this back. This is for a review of September, and I did this back in August. Drew this blue line, and we have a whole course here on how do I do what I do on these with these different points. They're showing you the different correlations. For example, that's the symbol for a full moon, and look, you're right at the top there. And here's a Uranus turning retrograde there, and that's a bottom. And here's the Venus and direct Jupiter retrograde in a topping formation, and you had a big drop. And here's a new moon there. That was a top, and so forth. But anyway, I think you'll agree there's a pretty nice correlation there for about 80% of the time. All right, moving ahead now. Here's what's coming up this week. Starting this, we're on the 9th now, doing this interview, and tomorrow afternoon of the 10th, Pluto will be turning direct in the sign of Capricorn. Keep in mind this also includes the stock market. We have cocoa, coffee, hogs, and tea bonds as our other markets. And so watch those markets. If they're going up, look to sell them. If they're going down, look to buy them. If they're going sideways, do nothing. Here's Mars going into Scorpio, changing signs the night of the 11th. Cocoa, hogs, tea bonds. Jupiter to the U.S. chart the night of the 12th. Stocks, tea bonds, U.S. dollar. And this coming weekend, the end of the week, we'll have a solar eclipse in the sign of Libra. Again, that's like it's a special new moon when the sun, earth, and moon all line up to block the moon blocks the sun. So it looks like the sun is, somebody turned out the sun, So financials, grains, for precious metals, and because it's a Libra, sugar and wheat. So I've been doing this a long time. I should update this probably closer to 50 years rather than what it says there, 45. Started on the CBOE Options Exchange in Chicago in 1975. Did that for 12 years and studied all these different things, Elliott Wave, Gann, astrology, music, Fibonacci, all these things over the many years. So looking forward to helping some of the folks. You can contact me, ask me questions. I'll go over some of the terminology. Nothing here is over a 5th grade level, I promise you. It looks complicated because these are maybe some terms you're not familiar with. Once you get used to the terminology, you got it made in the shade. Please call me at 239-594-3939. That's in beautiful sunny Florida, Naples, Florida. Email nwinski, Nwinski, at yahoo.com, or Skype at nwinski, Nwinski_1. Looking forward to helping some of the folks, Jeff. Thank you very much.
Norm, you're consistent time after time. It's just wonderful. Thanks for the dates. Thanks for the review. And we'll look forward to seeing you back in a couple of weeks.
Great. Thank you.